Time Has No Distance by Tyler Holmes. Our souls met so long ago. Mine never left your side. My body ached to be near yours. I knew my soul had drifted from me. I knew where it was even as I tried to forget it. The pain of losing you to distance was too much for my mind to bear. I never stopped loving you. For years I walked around missing something, missing my passions, desires, missing romantic love. When I would be asked who I loved, your face appeared in my mind, but I dare not speak of your name. Time in and time again, I would search for you secretly. I prayed so often to once more have you in my arms. You are far more than just a first love. You are my love. You hold my soul, and with it my heart. To you, sweet hooded fellow, I give you my all. I wrote that poem in 2015 for a guy that was my best friend for a really long time. We were forced apart because we got too intimate when we were dating in high school, and his parents actually moved him away to another state to get away from the sinful girl over here, and we were not allowed to speak to each other again. We both ended up marrying other people, and we had separate lives. I had 4 kids. He didn't have any. And in 2014, we got back together, and that was a poem that I had written for that. It didn't work out, but the poem still exists, and we're still friends to this day. And that love that I felt that entire time was a friendship, it was a connection, and it was something real that never quite went away. And I still have love in my heart for him. He will always be a part of my story, and for the good and the bad that happened. He was there for me when I was going through health problems. He was there for me through a lot, and I was there for him through a lot of issues as well that he got through, and we both were stronger when we came out of that relationship. We had a very good conversation about our desires and needs and how they didn't really mesh together in a romantic sense with what we needed at that point in our life. But sometimes that's just the way it is, and it's sad, and it can be both sad and healing at the same time. And looking back over it, it was probably the most peaceful split and divorce that has ever occurred, where we both just wrote down exactly what it is that we wanted. And there was one thing that we fought over, not fought, it wasn't a fight. It was 2 books that were worth like $40. And I ended up getting them and ordered him new ones. So it was the memories tied to those books and reading them to the kids, and they're very special to the children. And so he agreed with that in the end when I told him that. And I told him I'd buy him new ones, but I wanted those old ones that we had read to the kids. So yeah, we still speak. He's still on my phone plan, and we haven't been together in 6 years, I think. But we still exist together, and that special bond will always be there. I am lucky to have had that for the brief moments that I did, and to have that forever connection to another human is special. And I hope that everyone can have that, even if it is for just a couple short years, and they can feel that sense of care that someone else has for them, and without fear of how the other person will react or how the other person will will take anything that you say because you know that that person truly does care for you. And I had that for a brief moment, and I've tried to remember that and not forget it. I have gone through so much of the opposite where I am scared and I fear expressing myself. I fear confronting the other person with anything, and that I'm conflicted in myself because I want to stand true and knowing how I should be treated and how I should be talked to, and then fighting that fear as well of talking to that other person at the same time about it, knowing that it most likely is not going to go well, and that I'm not only going to not get my needs met, but going to get the opposite of my needs met. And that is painful. That is something that I wouldn't wish on anyone because there's one thing to not be getting certain needs met at all. And like by voicing them or not voicing them and them not following through with your love languages or whatever that is. But what I'm talking about is someone actively doing the opposite of what it is that you're needing. So if you're needing closeness, you're needing to be held, you're needing to be told that it's going to be okay, that you're loved, that you're cared for, and that even if they're upset and even if there's troubles right now, that they're not going anywhere and that they love you. And they turn around and leave and text you horrible things about yourself, tell you how you're not good enough, how you're not measuring up, how refusing to tell you that you're loved, refusing to tell you anything positive about yourself when you just told them that that was what you needed. And I'm not saying that someone can't take time and space to come back and do that. That's fine. That's okay. It's them actively doing the opposite, not telling you when they're going to be back, just leaving, then making it clear that instead of being like, yes, I want to resolve this, saying, well, you can leave. You can break up with me. You can choose that when you're begging that other person to just be there, to just exist with you, to just hold you, to just let you know that you're important, that you're special. And it hurts so bad when that other person tries to put it on you to make them leave, to try to put it on you to break up with them, to try to put it on you to disengage, and they act like it wouldn't be a problem for them. Like it wouldn't hurt them at all for that to be what you choose to do, and that that's what they're wanting you to do. When you're so desperately wanting the opposite, it hurts. It hurts so bad. And I just want you to know that you're not alone if you are going through that. And it is a very hard place to be in. And I understand that you can't always leave, that that isn't always an option, and that's not always what you want. And that you just want that person to see what they're doing to you, to see the pain that is there, to see the abandonment, to see how alone you feel, and care, show you, tell you, make you feel that care because you're feeling the opposite. When that person spends so much time and energy telling you all the terrible things, all of the opposite things, fighting you on your feelings, telling you why you shouldn't feel that way, turning it around on you, telling you how you're not good enough when you have been hurt by that other person. And all you want is to be wrapped up in that person who hurts you's arms. And they're doing the opposite to you again and hurting you on top of already being hurt. I've been there way too many times, and I'm just so scared. I'm scared of never having that feeling again that I had for that brief moment, never having that safety and security and that feeling that that person is never going to want to leave you. I am terrified. And I have voiced this on TikTok. I have voiced this everywhere to my friends and of why I don't I don't seek that out because I am so scared of disappointment. I'm so scared of feeling that same way again. And I, at this point, feel like being alone and being wrapped up in my own feelings and my own healing, and that's less painful than getting into something where that person is going to just hurt you again. And I'm so torn right now. And reading that poem again from years ago, it kind of brought that back to me of that I do want that. I do want that connection, even if it's a friendship. Even if it is not romantic, even if it is not in any way a feeling of like that soulmate kind of feeling of love, romantic love. I don't even need that anymore. I honestly could live the rest of my life without having intercourse and just being held and told that it'll be okay. That's what I really want. And I want to feel safe and secure. And I don't know if my mind or body or soul will even let that happen anymore, because of how much of the opposite I have gotten and how, I don't know, I don't even know how to word it, but my soul is conflicted. And yes, I want to feel that love, but I so desperately don't want to feel the opposite of that love again. And I would rather feel nothing, have nothing felt towards me than have the opposite again. I'm sorry, this is very different, and I was only going to read a poem. I wasn't going to go on this tangent about all of this, but it felt needed and healing. I've been going through a lot lately, and so has my co-host Lee, and that is why we haven't put out a ton right now, and I've been trying to still put something out every week, and Cocktails and Colts has been wonderful, and I'm working on a few projects individually as well. And we have a Patreon only show that has been going, that starts this Sunday, and I have 5 weeks of it coming out on Patreon for them. But I just needed a little mental health break from a lot of stuff, and Lee has been going through a lot, like I said, but we have some guests lined up that we're going to be interviewing with, and that show's going to be coming back. And then my individual Two Crows podcast will be back up as well. So I'm working on the stories for that, and some new cryptids that we're going to talk about. And I feel horrible for needing a break, but my stomach stopped working again. So I've only been able to eat a meal every other day. And I've lost about 20 pounds in the last 3 weeks. I have had flare-ups from medication changes where I'm in a wheelchair if I'm leaving the house. I also went through a week that I could barely talk because my throat hurt so bad. Thank you, children. And I have been having flare-ups with my EDS as well. I dislocated my shoulder a couple weeks ago. I dislocated my hip. And I am very unsteady on my feet right now. And I've been pretty much stuck in my bed again. I've been applying for a lot of jobs. I've had interviews with no callback. In my town, 20% of the largest company that was employing people here laid off. They laid off 20% of the people right before I got laid off. And so they kind of swooped up all the jobs that pay enough to pay bills. And all the office jobs pretty much are taken up. And so I'm trying to find something that I can physically do, mentally do, that will pay the bills. And that's kind of where I'm at and what I've been working on. It's been really challenging. And on top of that, I had a water heater go out, so I had to buy a new water heater. My Jeep, I had to get that back from Colorado. It was there for like 5 months and I feel terrible. But I have that back, and then it needed some repairs, and because my other car went out and needs repairs. So it's just been one thing after another of being laid off and trying to. I've been really focusing on photography. Thankfully, that's brought in money. I've won some competitions with my photographs, which I'm very thankful for. And I just had some other issues with that are personal with my oldest child that I needed to deal with that took a lot of phone calls and lawyers and meetings that took up a lot of time and mental energy as well, where he was not getting the care he needed from a care team that is paid a lot of money from myself and the county for him to get that care that they were saying that he was getting, but he was not. So I was dealing with that. So I really want to apologize for stepping away. I was ahead before all of this happened, and now I'm behind. And so I'm working on getting back ahead. Going to be posting regularly again, and I need a new microphone as well. If you can't hear that, my microphone has not been working. It has a lot of feedback, so I've just been using my headset. So I'm just looking for things. So if you know of any remote jobs that I can do from home, because there seems to be nothing in my town, let me know, or else I might have to sell my house and move because there's really nothing here. But the economy freaking stinks. Live in my bus again, which is torn apart right now because I was trying to get it ready change it up for what I didn't like when I was living in it for 10 months. And so right now it doesn't have any like actual walls in it. It just has the insulation and studs. And so I need to put walls back in it. I need to redo the plumbing, set that up, and put in the water heater. And so that's where I'm at, trying to figure out life right now. And I was only going to read a poem, so here you go. Here's an episode. But yeah, if you our new segment on the Patreon, which this will air this Sunday, is us reviewing movies and going through them. And I posted the movie on Instagram, Two Crows Podcast. I posted what we're watching. We're watching The Ramen Girl and reviewing it. And that's my go-to movie when I'm not feeling well, when I'm feeling sick or sad. And it's a really good feel-good movie. And it's on Amazon Prime, free with ads, I believe. And I think it's also on Freevee, I want to say, or something. One of those, I don't know, Voodoo. And it's free on there with ads as well. So we're reviewing that movie, and then I'll post a couple days before the next one what the movie will be that we're reviewing, so that if you want to watch it beforehand, before we go through it, we would love to have you join us. So yeah, we have 5 weeks of that, and it's a super enjoyable series that we're doing, and everything that from my Patreon really helps with what's going on right now. A lot of my episodes for Cocktails and Cults, as well as Frightening Frauen, take me a couple of weeks of research to do. And so I did have to pull back a little bit from doing as many episodes because of how much I like to dive into things when I'm doing them. We're recording another Cocktails and Cults today. We have another one coming out next week. So I am ahead on that. But I want to get back ahead on all of them. And I'm working really hard to get those scripts all ready and be able to discuss those. And having some weeks that we have guests on is going to help me get there, because the guest episodes I don't have to write a script for. So while we have those 3 guests that we're going to be interviewing coming up, I'll be writing a few scripts so that I can get ahead on those and get back to where I was before. Well, I appreciate you listening and caring, and I've had people reach out to me because they've noticed that I haven't been putting out as much. And honestly, for my podcast being out for 7 months now and having over 100 episodes, I'm pretty sure that we're doing okay. So I just really needed a couple of weeks of just putting one episode out because I just needed to get caught back up. But I appreciate you all and the care and compassion. And I love you. Crow out.